What's going on, guys? It's your boy Lil Flossy, and we're back with another video. Today is Saturday, and it is currently 3:14 a.m. Oh my god. Yes, it's 3:14 a.m. So what I want to do today is start a new series. Do scary Saturdays where I either watch, read, or play something scary. It ain't real if you're not in the dark. It's late at night, everybody's asleep, so you just gotta be straight with that. Because if you can't do that, you out here faking. But yeah, I got the video over from Creeps McPasta on YouTube. It's called Four Disturbing Deep Web Stories. And yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into it. I got my motherfucking Deer Park water. Yes, Deer Park, doesn't matter, water is water. And I got a little bit of apple juice in this thing, you know. After the gym, I'm trying to just like drink fruit juice. Drink fruit juices and some water. I'm cutting all that soda out. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. You know how you wake up early in the morning just looking for that damn drink because your throat's so dry? That's how I just felt. And cue it.
I did a lot of digging, mostly out of boredom, and stumbled upon one of the most messed up things I've ever seen.
One of the most messed up.
It was called Animals Nightmare. It appears to be down now, and as the title might hint at, it was a site for people to share videos and pictures of them torturing animals. Most of the users seemed to get off to it, the mutilation and suffering of animals. It chilled me to the bone to see some of the replies to a guy beating his dog with a piece of metal, saying stuff like, "Kill him, shove it inside of him," and other such comments. No animal was sacred. You lose a lot of faith in humanity after seeing two guys torture to death a 4-month-old puppy using dildos and a knife. But the worst part had to be their preferred method of disposing of the animal's corpse. I mean, you can't just leave a pet's body like that anywhere. It is easy to tell that the poor creature was tortured to death. So, they had to get creative. Roadkill. Put the animal's body on a rural road where most aren't likely to come by, and run it over a few times. It'll be mangled beyond belief, and anyone who comes to pick it up will think it was hit by a car, and no one cared enough to avoid it. Remember that next time you see roadkill.
That one wasn't that scary. That was more like just sick. It wasn't scary.
I visited 4chan since I was 14 or 15, and I was always intrigued by some of the IRC chats and other edgy stuff. I tried Tor after someone explained it when I was 16 or 17 or so. Someone told me about the hidden wiki and how to get free drugs and stuff.
Everything that you could buy.
I thought it was pretty neat when they talked about it.
I just went in.
Let's say that my mind changed after a few hours of browsing. Like I implied, I was a huge chantard, and I immediately searched for some deep web image boards. Yeah, big mistake.
Yeah, you damn.
Let me paraphrase an anonymous poster on the deep web image board. "Hey guys, look at this picture I made with my little sister." Someone linked me some fora where you could buy guns and drugs, and I thought that was kind of interesting. But unfortunately, that wasn't the only thing I found there. Someone offered a night of sex with his or her 7-year-old daughter if that person killed a man they wanted dead. People literally asked to kill people for them. There were people who said, "I need money, who do I need to kill in the area of Detroit?" That stuff was disturbing to read. And you know how we joke about people who call themselves XX Dark Lord XX? You know, people with those nicknames are there too. But these people aren't 12-year-old kids who claim they've screwed your mom. These people literally feel they're Dark Lords of the underground. I always thought that people had some good in them. But back then, I learned that there are people out there that are pure evil. It may sound cheesy and cheap, but it's true that some men just want to watch the world burn. The other thing I read was a very, very, very detailed story about a man who travelled to Thailand to have sex with children. In the story, he talked about how he bribed the parents of a girl. He talked about the best way to hide your newly acquired child porn so the people at the airport won't find it. It was absolutely disgusting. And I've seen some stuff, but this story made me hate mankind so much more. I literally didn't touch my PC for a week out of anger and disgust.
Dang.
I don't have PTSD or anything, but that stuff really messed me up a bit. Especially when you're 16 or 17 or so.
This is the third one.
This was back before Google. Web pages were, for the most part, still very basic HTML with JavaScript. Hardly anyone used CSS. Only discussion boards and some banking sites had anything approaching mature front-end/back-end combinations, etc. Early net. Real deep web story? Not just one about illicit activities online. I was browsing random blogs, GeoCities sites, and the like, just going from link to link. Eventually, I came upon an odd page. It appeared to be random thoughts from different people, but for the time, it was very well designed. The messages seemed to be cryptic in nature, like several people trying to pass secret notes. I started through the source, and hidden in the comments of the JavaScript were various IP addresses. I gathered all of the IPs in a text file and began enumerating. Some routers with banner messages I could telnet to, almost all at universities. Warning, this is a secure system at University of blah blah blah. The default Cisco credentials from back in the day worked on most of them, but I didn't poke around. A few of the IPs were web servers, with little to nothing on them. Mostly Apache and Linux or some BSD. At least one IIS server I can recall. I finally came upon a web server with a huge directory of HTML files and TIFF images, with a few smaller subdirectories containing the same. NSLookup returns no reverse records for the IP. A visual route traced it as far as Colorado. The HTML files appeared to be records a psychologist or similar mental health professional would keep. The images were of faxes, apparently of both military and medical nature. As I browsed from a subdirectory back to the parent, at the top of it was a new HTML file named something like 1-hello-there.html. The timestamp was from right that minute. I opened it, and in plain text was the message, "We see you." No quotes, all lowercase. About 15 seconds later, the server dropped.
Hell no, bruh. Hell no, bruh. Hell no. They got these weird.
The site with no name.
Here, bruh.
I got access to this site from France Stern 344, who's in a chat room on ChitChat. a very common deep web chat room site that most of you have probably already stopped in. Well, talk comes to talk, and we end up on the topic of snuff films, how common they are, where they are usually filmed and why, etc. I get his trust. We resume this chat in a private room that he had,
Why were you talking
0.10
about
bitcoins for a
snuff
private chat
films?
room.
Looking for
And keep in
snuff
mind that
films.
only getting information was my main reason for chatting. I'm not into snuff films, though they do fascinate me. We talked for a good
You're not into
20 minutes before,
snuff films,
without
but
having
they
to even
fascinate
ask,
you.
hooked me up with the site.
You're into snuff films.
We are just going to
bruh.
use a tidbit of the site's all
Yeah,
number
that's
URL
weird
to name
shit.
it. So, 5611 it is. Now this site, 5611, required an invite, extensive registration, questioning and one-on-one meeting with what I assumed was a site director / admin. He or she was a harsh one, and the stern punishment for breaking those site rules was laid out. The guy who invited me, France Stern 344, I guess was a long timer on 5611, who had permission to let me take a tour of the site. Now, I did ask for a formal site name for future reference, aka so I didn't have to name it 5611, and he said the site had no name, and that it was purely based to display its content and moderate membership. The title, he said, would only make it easier to identify, which they did not want to happen. 5611 had a small membership that, he said, the runners of the site tried to cater to very fondly, as membership is 1.588 bitcoins monthly, approximately $355 US. Upon entering the site, I had to check the "Are you older than 18" box for the 5th time since starting getting signed up. Finally, I was in. The site's design was bland and blocky, with a pure white background and very blocky, close together writing. In the top right corner, there were options to log out, add funds to my balance, and then a small wallet emoticon that displayed the empty Bitcoin client side balance. But that was barely on my mind. My mind was on the center of the screen. In a single row down the center of the screen, single frames with captions and descriptions took up most of the screen.
They got
The top
all
one
the snuff
had a
films.
still of a table with various blades and blunt weapons laid out. The title, 24-year F, sleeping,
Fucking
sug,
suckers.
death, with a 2.25 Bitcoin price tag along the side. A timer in green text was counting down. 11:51, 11:50, 11:49. Under the timer in the same green font was 78 out of 100. A couple seconds later, the 78 turned into a 79. Realization hit me in the face like a bat. This was a paid snuff site. With a shaky hand, I scrolled down through the seemingly endless snapshots and captions.
That's where you
One
messed
caught
up,
my
bro.
eye. Quick watch, homeless, 0.22 bitcoins, large view, low queue. It was like an attention-whoring YouTube title, but it seemed to be working. In the eerie green font, 783 out of 1,000 was displaying. A jaw-dropping number in my eyes. I decided this needed to be documented, so I did a quick transaction, put 0.3 bitcoins in my site wallet, and clicked on the arrow to enter. It took a minute or two to complete the transaction, and, after about a 5-minute buffer, I was in the showing. There was no chat box, only a slightly lighter border of grey and static. The same green timer was now in the bottom right of the screen. 3, 2, 1. The square blurred, revealing a city street. What seemed to be Arabic writing was on the various shop signs and advertisements. Light from a street post gave a fuzzy glow to the scene. The cameraman, from the position of the camera, seemed to be leaning against the wall. The shot focused on a dinky red junker on the street's curb. From the side of the camera's view, a gloved finger
Here,
points towards the entrance of a dark alley, where a man lays on his side, like a breathing pile of rags, obviously homeless and alone.
Like that.
The finger makes a motion towards the car, and 3 men quietly exit the car and walk along the storefronts, towards the sleeping, homeless figure. The quality is totally bad, but the scene can still be made out and is enhancing by my horrid imagination about what is to come. About 5 meters from the homeless victim, the lanky group of thugs pull out plain, white theatre masks from their jackets, take out various small weapons, and pounce around the corner onto the innocent, unsuspecting victim. The camera picks up the quick shuffling of feet as the cameraman runs towards the scene, catching the thugs thrashing and stomping the man from his slumber. "Cut him up," the cameraman's thickly accented voice commands the thugs, who begin to slash the victim at wild speed, like hyenas tearing into their prey. Blood sprays onto the wall and onto the thugs' white masks. It is horrible. My stomach barely holds on. I can't take it. Logging off tour, I take a few more security measures and shut off my computer, taking some deep breaths and sipping from a Coors Light.
A Coors Light. You mean a Deer Park, bruh? You need a Deer Park, bruh? Bruh. Yeah. But yeah, I guess that was it. If you guys liked that, enjoyed that video, you can go over to McCreeps Pasta. I'll put the link in the description for this video and for their channel. And yeah, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share this with your friends, and come join the fam. Hit that post notifications bell, and I'll catch y'all next time.